Hi everyone! Now we're going to read another Mulla Nusruddin tale called Edible Bedding.
Mulla Nasruddin lay in bed feeling more and more wakeful. His tummy rumbled and groaned, and deep inside he could actually feel pangs of hunger, twisting and turning. He had made a big mistake.
Next time he thought, I won't be so polite.
The truth was, he had arrived late at his friend's house. It was past midnight, but his friend had given him a kind welcome and taken him up to a beautiful bedroom with a magnificent bed and wished him a very good night. Normally, the mullah would have been delighted with this, but the trouble was, he had hurried to his friend's house as quickly as possible and he had not had time for any dinner. And now he was starving.
Next time he vowed, if I'm hungry, I'll be bold and ask for food. I will never ever put my poor starving belly over this agony again. Not ever.
The mullah turned over and covered his ears with the corners of his pillow to shut out the grumbling and moaning inside. He tossed and he turned. He got up and paced the room. He even fell down on his knees and prayed for relief, but nothing helped. So he got back into bed and started thinking.
Shall I go and ask for something to eat? He wondered.
Then he answered his own question. No, that would be ridiculous. You can't wake up your host in the middle of the night and demand food. That would be an insult.
Well, maybe I could go into the kitchen and help myself with something.
Of course you couldn't. That counts as stealing. You can't repay your host hospitality by stealing his food.
It's not stealing. I'll just take a small piece of bread and I'll tell him about it in the morning.
And what will he think then? That he's been a bad host who starved his guest? Is that what you want him to think?
Oh, for heaven's sake, thought the mullah, jumping onto his bed again. I have to find some way confirming my belly or I'll go mad.
He pulled on his clothes and ran down to his friend's bedroom. Timidly, he knocked on the door. His friend appeared, rubbing his eyes.
Forgive me, Hoja. Is something wrong? Have I failed my duties as a host? No, replied Mulla Nasruddin, folding his hands. It's just the opposite. You treated me with great honor and honored me with great luxury. You see, my friend, I'm a poor working man and I'm not used to sleeping in such a magnificent bed. Then I can use the griddle cake for a pillow and a flat bed for a cover, and I'm sure then that I will sleep like an innocent. Is this the end? Oh, that's the end.
Yes, so he requested his host for griddle cake and flat bread, okay, for a cover, but actually he wanted to eat it. And he made excuse that he's a poor man, working man, so until he indulge in some kind of labor, he cannot sleep.
He's a wise fool because he uses white lies. So that's the end of our story. Bye. Now we're going to read another Mulla Nasruddin tale called Share and Share Alike.
The mullah stood in front of a shop, eyeing a large bowl of freshly set yogurt. It looked thick and creamy and cool, and the mullah thought what a perfect meal it would make in the hot weather. But it was too large for one man, and expensive too. He felt in his pocket for the salad he had packed that morning before he left home. The heat had turned it into wilted, watery mess of cucumber and tomatoes, and the mullah wondered sadly if the olive oil he had packed would make it easier to eat.
We could buy that yogurt together and share it, Hoja, said a voice in the mullah's ear.
Ah, thought the mullah, delighted. Fate has heard my plea. He turned around and saw Nadim from down the road in his village. Nadim was a fuzzy fellow, but the mullah was hungry. And anyway, what could go wrong with something as simple as sharing a bowl of yogurt? So he accepted Nadim's offer. Nadim and Mullah found a cool spot in the shade of a tree and set the bowl of yogurt down on the grass. As soon as they were sitting down, Nadim leaned forward and drew a line across the center of the yogurt.
One half is yours, Hoja, he said, and the other is mine. This way we can make sure that the division is entirely fair.
Okay, so here is this yummy bowl of yogurt.
And let me show you the division. See, one for Nadim and one for Mullah. The Mullah didn't think that a division like this was necessary among civilized people. But it was too hard to argue, so he held his tongue. Nadim, meanwhile, scribbled along in his pocket and brought out a small packet.
Hoja, he said, I divided the yogurt because I'm going to put some sugar in my half.
Fine,
In your
half, Mulla and Nusruddin asked, surprised. But yogurt is liquid. Anything you put in your half is going to seep into my half. You might as well put the sugar in the middle for both of us to eat.
Oh no, protested Nadim. I only have enough sugar for one. We never agreed to share the sugar. After all, only the yogurt.
Fine, said the Mullah, putting out his olive oil. Then I won't share my oil with you. Nadim was horrified. He spread his hands over the bowl. You can't, Hoja, you ruined it. That's my half of the yogurt, snapped the Mullah. I can do what I like with it. What is it to you? But Hoja, you said yourself a moment ago that the yogurt is liquid, but no, what you put in one half leaks into the other half.
In that case, put your sugar in the middle, replied the Mullah, and I'll put away my oil.
So that's the end of our story.
Our Mullah is a smart man. Just look at Mullah Nusruddin with a bottle of olive oil in his hand and Nadim with a dash of sugar in his. And they both are using their wits to win the battle of the wits in between them.
So that's the end of our story. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye.